listening to Sundays at the Square. I am your host, Toni Ringgold. I hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend thus far. I want to give a shout out to my live viewers who are coming in right now via Facebook Live. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Yes. Listen, this weekend has been great. Of course, y'all know it's my birthday. It's my birthday. Hey. So I am so happy, y'all. This has been one of the best birthdays in a long time. So it is such an honor to be here today among some great individuals. And I want to go ahead and let you all know before we jump into this show, because this is a good one, y'all. This is a real good one. If you are not following me, you can follow me, Toni Ringgold. That's ToniRinGold. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. Make sure you also go on myb106.com and hit at the square. You can hear this show and all other shows right there with At the Square with Toni Ringgold. Also, if you're not on Facebook, make sure that you follow B106 Hip Hop and R&B. We always have some new things coming up, and there's always plenty of contests, so you can win some things. We love giving stuff away. Yes, and I am so excited because next week I am launching my second show, which is called The Soundtrack. Come on. Hey, really excited about that. The Soundtrack is going to be a really fun show. We're going to be playing all kinds of music. We're going to be promoting local artists, and we're going to be having some real talk. And I want to know what's on your soundtrack. So all this week, I would love for you to hit me up with songs you would like to hear, local artists that you know of that are the bomb.com and they need to be on the radio. Make sure that you let me know that. You can inbox me on Facebook at Toni Ringgold. You can also email the soundtrack B106 at gmail.com. Again, that's the soundtrack B106 at gmail.com. Stay tuned because my new website, ToniRingoldMusic.com, will be launching this week as well. So we got some things going on, honey. But back to the issue at hand. Hey, y'all. Hey, Christina. Hey, Shanitra. How are you? Hey, Princess. Hey, Angelique. Hey, Rosie. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Saturday thus far. Now, I got some dynamic folks in the building today. What? As you all know, or you may or may not know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I've combed through all my Rolodex of bomb people. And I really thought about the panel because I didn't want it to be just a boring discussion and everybody just throwing out statistics and stuff like that. But I really wanted to get an open, honest, and candid look at mental health and understanding what it is and how you can survive, and not only survive, but thrive through it. So I have two dynamic guests, and I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves, starting immediately to my left.
So I'm Matthew Litaker. I'm a licensed professional counselor over at Restorative Hope Sanctuary. And we're a Christian mental health clinic in Killeen, Texas. You can look us up on Facebook, Instagram, and online at restorativehope.org.
Awesome.
And I am Titi Ladette. I am an international best-selling author. I am a playwright. I'm a publisher. I am a CEO, and I'm a nonprofit advocate. So those are just some of the things that I do. My book, which is my best-selling book, is The Pink Elephant in the Middle of the Ghetto. And the neat thing about the book is that it does talk about my lived experience, my journey through childhood molestation, mental illness, drug addiction, and healing. And I can't wait to get into the discussion because I want to tell you how all those things, the mental illness is the driver for a lot of the things that we see, a lot of the incarceration, a lot of the things that we see, our homelessness, a lot of those things are derivative of mental health issues.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the first thing for our listeners, if you are just tuned in, you are tuned in to Sundays at the Square. I am your host, Toni Ringgold. I have some amazing panelists sitting here with me. And you know, I feel like everybody that comes here is amazing, so I'll never stop using that word. But I have Miss Titi Ladette. She is a best-selling author. She is a CEO of a nonprofit organization. She, oh my gosh, playwright, all kinds of stuff. Listen, just Google it, okay? Just Google it, all right? And then I have Mr. Matthew Litaker, who is a licensed professional counselor, and he has a Christian counseling clinic here in Killeen, Texas, called
Restorative Hope Sanctuary.
Restorative Hope Sanctuary. So for our listeners that are just tuned in and may not understand even what mental health is, can someone explain to me what a mental illness is, even just the basic definition?
You go ahead. I'm gonna let you give the clinical, and then I'm gonna give the ghetto.
Okay.
So really, you know, when we're talking about that, it's a way of describing what somebody is experiencing. And so I think a really broad and good way of describing that is that it's behaviors or thinking that falls outside of the normative.
Speak directly.
Yeah, so it falls outside of the normative thought patterns or normative behavior. And sometimes people do not have awareness that they are experiencing behaviors or thoughts outside of the norm, and the norm being the majority. Okay.
And then
first of all, I want to say I think that's a very good definition. I might have to use that one.
Yeah.
But in addition to thinking and behavior falling outside of normal patterns, I want to say also that mental health illness is it's a chemical imbalance. It's a chemical imbalance, and I tell
what is
people,
a chemical imbalance?
Well, it's you know, now that you maybe look, we have a professional here that can give you a professional definition, but what I do understand about anything being unbalanced, you know, that is not balanced. So therefore, if you think about the foods that we eat now, we, you know, there's so many things about fake food, and we have all these different man-made preservatives and stuff that are really attacking us. Those things cause chemical imbalances. Do you understand? Anything that has the ability to disrupt the way our normal patterns, just like I said. I love that normal. I love that.
What is normal though? And so I think that's something I want to touch on a little bit too, because someone may say, well, my normal isn't your normal, so what do you mean what's normal? And
so some ways to measure that would be saying, are you able to function in your daily life? And you know, that's going to be different for all ages and what's happening in your life. For a lot of adults, that's, are you able to earn an income? Are you able to do some basic hygiene things, bathe yourself? Are you able to engage in conversation that is meaningful and coherent? Things like that. Versus, say if I need to go get food and I have awareness, I need to go to HEB and get food, but it scares me to go to HEB. Or maybe when I get to HEB, I'm freaking out. I don't know why I'm freaking out. Or, you know, even before that, maybe I know I need to give food, but it physically hurts too much to do anything. It physically hurts to get ready, to let the water of the shower hit my body.
Wow.
You know, all sorts of things like that. And so that falls outside of the normative thinking and behavior. And that would cause a serious impact in somebody's life.
Right. And I also want to say that even using those examples that you use, Matt, I love that normal. I'm going to have to really adopt that. I really am. And when you're talking about normal, Toni, one of the things that I have a viral video, the card video that went viral, and one of the things that I said, and so many people, I mean hundreds and thousands of people have reached out to me saying that the thing that touched them the most was the fact that when I said I didn't want to take medication, I didn't want to see a psychiatrist, I wanted to be normal, you know. And what I realized is that if you have a mental health issue, seeing a psychiatrist, taking medication, that is normal.
Come on.
Right.
That is normal. And that clicked for so many people. I had so many responses just about that, you know, and I was like, wow. So I think I think this is a very important conversation to have.
I like that. The new normal.
The new normal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because you have to take care of yourself. And I think a lot of times what happens, and I can say this as I get choked up. What I will say is that I've seen that people take on diabetes, they take on cancer, they look at, you know, heart disease, they look at lung issues, they look at all of those things, and they say, oh, that's important to take care of. You need to see a doctor. You need to take care of that. But when it comes to taking care of your mental, your brain, which is just you don't have a brain, you don't have nothing. If you don't take care of these things and how this is literally controls every part of your body. But people don't want to take that serious. I don't understand why.
Hold on. So I heard something real good the other day from an amazing person I follow, Pastor Rich Wilkerson Jr. He's amazing. But anyway, he was saying, you know, for men, a lot of times we don't even want to go to the doctor. I mean, our leg could be falling out from like, oh, you know, put some Vicks on it, you know, whatever, walk it off, you know. But our car, let the car make any kind of noise. Right. Oh, whoop, whoop. We're gonna go through. We're gonna go get our oil changed, get the tires rotated. We're gonna do all those things. And going in for mental health treatment sometimes is as routine and mundane as an oil change, as getting tires rotated.
I love it.
Let me check in about this job transition, my children's, you know, going to a different school, they leaving the house. It is routine. It's everyday kind of life. It doesn't have to be this big, giant, scary thing.
Right. Well, you know, I want to say a couple of things. The first thing I want to say is, as a person who lives with a mental health issue, my clinical diagnosis is bipolar 1 with schizoaffective disorder. And it's funny how we're talking about the stigmas and this and that, because what I would often do is I will talk about the bipolar, because bipolar is a very common word that we use, but to say with schizoaffective disorder, because it sounds too much like schizophrenic, so I'll leave that off. I'm bipolar is what I'll say. But I'm bipolar with schizoaffective disorder, so I know how the bipolar affects me. I'm up and I'm down, and some days I'm manic and I feel like I can save the world. I can change it, save it, and fix it in one day. I feel like I can. I mean, literally, I wake up like Superwoman. Like, I'm ready to tackle crime. I'm ready to, you know, leap buildings in one single leap. You know, I'm ready to do all of that. But also, the downside is the depression, where, you know, and I describe the depression as being in a dark room looking for a black cat with black gloves. Like, you can't find nothing. I mean, it's just like you're just lost. You know, you're lost in your own head, and it's dark. Everything is dark, you know, and you're trying to find some light, but you can't. So that's how. But now let's talk about the schizoaffective. That's the part where the paranoia comes in. That's the part where I call it the X-Files music. I think that's the only way that I can explain it. When I turn on the radio and it says, oh, it's been, you know, today we're going to expect lots of rain. And I've been crying all night. And I just know that it's talking about me. Like, really, literally. And I'm not talking about just knowing it. I'm talking about living as if it is. So I tell people all the time, it is a challenge to live with a mental health issue. Not only is it a challenge, the hardest thing that I do, though, like Matt was saying, the hardest thing I do is getting out of my house on time. Yeah. That's the hardest thing I do.
I have problems with that.
You know, I mean, literally, I'm sitting there for 30 minutes arguing with the shoe. Like, the shoe just won't go on right. And I'm crying. And I mean, I'm melting down. And people don't get to see that part. And they're like, but you look like you're just doing great. Well, I don't put that on Facebook. But those are the things that people don't get to see.
We're going to take a short break. That is really awesome what you just said. And I appreciate you being so open and candid. We're going to take a short break. You're listening to Sundays at the Square. We'll be right back.